Well, folks, we are back, and quite a bit has happened since the last episode of the Terranadome. Of course, my name is Scott Terrana. Now, the Boston Celtics, they did lose their best player to a catastrophic injury to go down 3-1 to the New York Knicks. Then they won game five by 25, only to get destroyed in game six. We'll discuss the season end for the Celtics and what may happen to the team going forward into next season. We'll also take a look at the rest of the NBA playoffs as the league is down to its final four teams in the conference finals. And then it's the quick hit segment of the show where we'll discuss five topics in rapid succession to close it out. Josh Morris, he's back on the show once again in an all new Terranadome, and it starts right now. Terranadome. Minnesota was doomed from the start. I mean, this was a ass whooping. There's nothing short of that. It was a complete ass whooping. But I will tell you what, my friend, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And it is time to get them back in the AFC Championship game. I believe that, listen, you're right about Derrick Henry, especially in cold weather. No one's going to want to tackle that guy. So it's going to be imperative for the Buffalo Bills to jump out early in this game and get a lead and force Lamar Jackson to have to play from behind. If they can do that, they're going to win this game. Mention things that we love to hear, like we're getting the entitlement out of our team, and we're going to earn the opportunity to come into this building every day. I absolutely love that. One thing I will say for sure, yes, they definitely need to go and spend some friggin' money. They're going to have the most cap space in the league, and I'm going to kill them every week on this show until they spend money.
Known as fair square throughout my years, so I growl at the living vow. Black to the bone, my home is your home.
Well, welcome to Terranadome. Terranadome, and it starts right now. Yeah, folks. So, we're back here on the old Terranadome, and before we get into things, I just want to say Josh is back on the show once again. Josh, say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
All right, that was a great introduction. Do you want to add anything to that?
Nope, just happy to be here and shooting shit with you. So it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we usually try not to swear on the show. I know I usually let one or two slip. Usually try not to. I mean, it's just fecal talk, folks. So please don't get me in trouble with YouTube. So great. I'm glad I asked you to add to that. So here we are. It is a rare Monday episode of the show. To be honest with you, folks, don't do a lot of Mondays, but it's Monday, May 19th. And since our last episode, Josh, quite a bit has happened. The Celtics have been eliminated from the playoffs by the New York Knicks, something that neither of us expected. We were both incorrect in picking both of the Eastern Conference series, as it turned out, which we'll get to, I guess, in a little bit. But obviously, the main takeaway from that series ends up being what happens to your star player, Jason Tatum. Now, Jason Tatum, in game four, with the Celtics down 2-1 in the series, was carrying this team. He had 42 points over the first 45 minutes of this game. He was 16 out of 28 from the field, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and 7 out of 16 from three-point range. At that point, Tatum had 42, and the rest of the team had 62 points. But Josh, of course, goes down, snaps his Achilles in his right leg, and goes down, and not good at all. Obviously, pretty much the worst injury that a basketball player can get. Just not good. Just to sum up the rest of the series here, then we'll get back to Tatum. Game 5, an inspired effort. I guess maybe rallying around the fact that they had lost their best player. They come out led by Jaylen Brown, 26, 12, and 8. And Derek White had 34 points in this game and 9 of 16 from 3, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. They won Game 5, 127-102. We were starting to get confident. Peyton Pritchard with 17, and Luke Cornett was 5 for 5 for 10 points off the bench. But then Game 6 happened, and it was back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Celtics down 64-37 at half. I think we knew it was over in the first quarter, realistically, watching this game, but you knew it was over at halftime. They shot 12 of 40 from 3 and 19 of 46 from 2, which actually seems impossibly bad. Meanwhile, the Knicks had 4 starters score 21-plus points. The Celtics looked dead in the water from the opening tip. Josh, what can we really extrapolate from this series after they lost Tatum? And by the way, it looked like they were still going to lose that game five as well. Or I'm sorry, game four, where Tatum was carrying the entire load, it seemed like, but they were still trailing in that game late in the fourth quarter. Did the Knicks just want it more? Were the Celtics outcoached in this series? As I think they were. What are some of the takeaways that you had?
Yeah, I mean, I know you think they were outcoached, but they played to their game plan, right? That's their game plan. Their game plan is to shoot a high volume of threes. Statistics say they shot good shots. They just didn't hit them. And I agree with you. I think they were losing game four regardless. No one could seem to do anything besides Tatum, and Tatum was otherworldly.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best playoff games you're gonna see ever, and it ends like that, which is just heartbreaking. I think at the end of the day, you had a skeleton crew. Like there wasn't enough healthy guys. Porzingis is still not right. We don't even know if he's gonna be right. Unfortunately, you gotta dump him. If he can't be healthy, you can't pay a guy $35 million. You just can't.
We're gonna
Drew Holiday was not right. He hasn't been right all year since he got that mallet finger or whatever it was. And then I think he had a hamstring strain in the Orlando series, I think it was, because he missed 2 games or 3 games in that series.
He missed the last three. Yeah, actually he missed the last four in that series.
Yeah, so he wasn't right. Obviously, we find out. I mean, we knew Jalen wasn't right. We knew his knee wasn't right, and then we hear, that he's got a meniscal tear. That's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know how you play basketball. I don't know how you play basketball on that.
Yeah, and he played pretty well.
They were injecting him with whatever they could.
He was getting shot out.
But that also makes me fear for his future. Like, how much damage did you do? The knees are not something you can play with, especially in basketball. They're everything. You see guys lose their career because their knees go. So hopefully he comes back healthy. But I think at the end of the day, besides Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Jason Tatum, you didn't have a healthy guy on the roster.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. And again, we didn't really even know the full extent of it. I mean, we didn't hear about the meniscus tear, well, however partial it may be. That's still incredibly painful. And Jaylen Brown played the entire playoff run through that. So credit to him for having the balls. And yeah, hopefully you're right. You're right. Hopefully not too much damage done long term to that knee, because they're really going to need him next year. And I'm not one of these people that thinks that they should be in the business of trading him either. I know a lot of people have said that, but I'm not there. Your point about Porzingis is also valid. Something clearly wrong with him. He doesn't even know what's wrong with him. That's a really troubling thing, not just for this guy's career, but for his life in general. Guy doesn't know what's wrong with himself. And then, yeah, I mean, Hauser had the ankle problem, I believe it was. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about Jrue Holiday didn't look like the same player at any point this year, really. And going back to your original point about how they played to their system, or they played to their game plan, rather, which is their system. It's the same thing, right? I understand that they did that. I understand that at least in some of these games, statistically, these were good shots that just didn't go in. But what I'm kind of asking there is, are they just not capable of making an adjustment or playing any different style of game? Because that's a problem.
I mean, I get it. I do. But I mean, I want to say, I don't know if it was the Orlando series. Like, they had a game where they scored over 50 points in the paint, so they can adjust. I just wonder if sometimes the players or the coaches or whoever it might be, that's what I really want to know. Who is it? Because there are games where they go, okay, threes aren't falling, or you know what, they're doing a really good job of covering the perimeter. We're going to take the interior, and we're going to score 50 points in the paint. Well, if you can do that one game, you should be able to expose that. But that's the thing. The Knicks were giving them 3-pointers. They had a lot of open shots. They just couldn't hit them. And at that point, I don't know if it's your legs. I don't know if it's the injuries. I don't know. Because a lot of their shots, I will say, especially in game 5, or game 6, I should say, were short, which is usually a sign you don't have your legs.
Your legs are tired, yeah.
You don't have the energy. And when you see shots like that consistently, you're like, you're never going to hit those threes. You got to take some middies. You got to take some easy buckets. And
yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's the players or the coaches. I really don't know, because it doesn't ever seem like Missoula's screaming at the sidelines like, "You got to take threes!" Like he doesn't seem to get mad if Jaylen Brown takes a midi. So I don't know if it's the player's mindset or the coaches.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And to your point, kind of, I think that that really showed up in Game 6 of this series. They were just you could just tell that they were done, like
Mm,
just cooked. And we expected this series to go the other way at the outset. We thought that Tom Thibodeau running his starting five into the ground constantly that would affect the Knicks. They held up really well. Credit to them, honestly, because I mean, when it came down to it, I mean, yes, the Celtics blew a couple of 20-point leads in this series, but ultimately when the bleep hits the fan, to your point, when it was all on the line, they were the ones that made the shots that the Celtics didn't make.
mm.
So credit to them.
And in that game 4 that they were losing, the Knicks shot 54%. That's unbelievable. You don't have a game where a team shoots 54% and you win. You're usually losing that game. And it just happened to be the game that, Tatum, played his best game of the series. And I also think, I don't think whether it be the media or us are putting enough on Porzingis because that's what made this team so different. You
Yes,
took Porzingis off that team. They are a good team. They're a very good team.
yeah, but
You
they're not a
put Porzingis in
championship
there, and
level.
they're different. They're different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that is a hard group of 5 to guard. And when you take him out and he can't do anything, because he's out there, but he's a cardboard cutout.
yeah, he's
He
not doing
couldn't play
anything.
defense with the tenacity he usually does, and he couldn't do anything offensively.
Could not hit a shot. No. And I mean, yeah, to your point, I mean, we kind of said that before the playoffs started, right? Like they had Porzingis at the time he was healthy. At the time he was healthy, and we're like, well, this is your biggest difference maker because you could just do so many things to space the floor just from having Porzingis, and he's such a weapon at both ends of the floor. And you got absolutely nothing from him. And the weird thing is, he was good in the Orlando series. Just it seems like but they're saying that this has been going on for weeks, so it's like, did it flare back up on him? Like it's almost seems like it's some kind of like viral infection. Something's not right, and you hope he's okay for his own health. Um, Another thing that I really don't have in my notes, but I guess before I get to the offseason stuff here, because we're getting there. But what do we think that coming off at 27 years old, he may not come back till he's 29. I mean, do we think that Jason Tatum can come back to the same level that he's been playing at? You know what I mean? Because that Achilles injury, save for Kevin Durant, it really hasn't. Yeah, I mean, we're hoping we're hoping for the same thing as Durant. I think.
Well, it was done by the same doctor, so
Right.
you're hoping that it does well. He's so young; like you don't see a lot of guys his age
Well,
snap.
the mean age is like 29 for this kind of injury. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
he's
he's just under it.
he's just at that 27, right? Like he doesn't turn 28 till next year,
Yeah. Right.
right? So like he's a young 27. So I mean, from what I was reading, they're saying anywhere between 8 and 9 months. And if that's the timeline, you're looking at like March of next year.
March
So like
3rd. March 3rd is his birthday, so he'll be 28 on March 3rd.
so he would be coming around his birth. He'd be coming around that 28-year-old, age. You're hoping. I mean, obviously next year, if he does play, he's not going to be elite. He's just not. But I mean, if you even have a semi-decent Jason Tatum for the last 2 months of the season, you got a chance, in my opinion.
I agree, but I mean, I'm under the assumption he's going to be out all year because why would you possibly rush this in any way, shape, or form? It took Kevin Durant 16 months.
Well, Durant was also over 30, which is like usually a death sentence. Kobe
Yeah,
Bryant, I think, did it at 34, and he
yeah,
came back
he
6 months later.
he was in 8 months, I believe. Yeah,
Like but I mean, he's psycho. So it like,
but
but
that's Tatum's role model, though. That's the guy that he
but
looks
that's what
up
I'm
to.
thinking. I'm wondering if Tatum's looking at it as, oh, he did it in 8, I'm gonna do it in 7. You know what I mean? Like he's
Maybe
just gonna try to get back as quickly as possible.
I'm sure he's going to
We'll
try
see.
to.
We'll
Yeah.
see. I don't know. I hope he's back. I mean, watching them without Tatum is going to be a struggle. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I mean, here's to hoping, right? I think that so he it was his right Achilles that he blew up. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I remember I was not a good basketball player at all, but I believe that when you're a right-handed shooter, you push off your left leg to rise up, if I'm not mistaken,
You
right?
should.
So that's a good prognosis for
Like
this
that's going to be
thing.
his plant leg when he's in the triple threat when he's facing up. I mean, most of that onus is going to be on that left side. So hopefully,
Right.
um, he'll be able to return at least to form a little quicker because mentally he's not going to be thinking about his right nearly as much as he would be his left.
And that's got to be almost as much of a mental hurdle as it is a physical one at that with that kind of injury. And the other thing about the Durant injury is that he's a right-handed shooter and it was his left Achilles.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing there. So we're optimistic here on the Terranadome. Josh is optimistic. I'm optimistic. Maybe we see Tatum play in next by the end of next season. That would be that would certainly make things more interesting. I'm going to get to my theories about next season because we have to talk about the offseason first here with the Boston Celtics, folks. Of course, I always like to remind people it's a New England-based show, and I try to steer things towards. I try to do a mix of both, but a lot of New England, Boston-based stuff here on the show. So to me, and we're gonna see like I'm saying, we're saying Tatum's mostly out most of if not all of next year. So what does this team look like to start the 2025-2026 season? Well, Josh, uh they're like 40 million above the luxury tax, and that's going to basically make them unprofitable. And that is not going to work for a new ownership group. It just isn't. We all kind of understand even if they really don't get much back for these guys, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and I think even Sam Hauser, they're all gone. I don't know if you agree with me or not. I see you nodding your head in agreement. Um, if you get rid of all three of them, let's just count what's going out instead of potential what's coming back because we don't
It's
know.
around 70 million, right?
It's 73, just shy of 73.2. So even if you sign back Al Horford and Luke Cornett at basically the same money, which would be just over 20 million,
And that's going to be tough because Cornette made himself a name when he went off in Game 5.
yeah, I mean he probably just doubled his salary there. So maybe you bring him back because something tells me Horford's not going to want to go out just yet. And maybe you spend 25 million to bring those two back a piece. You do that, you're still $30 million below the luxury tax threshold. At that point, that theoretically allows you to acquire other players. I think it would be very silly to trade Jaylen Brown, but a lot of other people have floated that out there. Yeah, I know
No.
you're shaking your head, so I was going to ask you what you think of that, but it's obviously a stupid idea, right?
I mean, I get the idea. Like, if that's your idea, trade everyone besides White and Pritchard. If you want to bring back Horford, sure. But I mean, what are you going to tell Horford? Hey, we're essentially tanking this year. Like, come on back. Like, no. Horford's not going to come back to a team that he knows doesn't have a future, right?
I guess.
You could win 45 games with Jaylen Brown as your head.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw out a couple of names that they can bring in to be starters next season too. And I mean these two guys that I'm floating out at power forward and center, these guys have player options with their current teams, but I think they both made themselves more money this season. So this is what I think a starting five is going to kind of look like. You know it's going to be Peyton Pritchard if you get rid of Drew
True.
Holiday. It's going to be Pritchard, Derek White at the 2, Jaylen Brown at the 3. Okay. I propose getting Kelly Oubre, and Naz Reid.
I love Naz Reid.
We all,
Love Naz Reid.
we love Naz Reid.
Sixth man of the year 2 years ago. Guy can shoot. He can board. I like him. That's a great pickup. If they win the championship this year, that's going to be a hard sell.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Hey, come to us. We just lost our superstar.
Right, but you
but
can start. But you can start.
That's true. He would be starting, and I would love it. Kelly Oubre, he seems like a giant turd, so I.
But he played very well. He always plays well when he has a chance to start, though. I know he seems kind of a douche. He fits Philadelphia pretty perfectly.
Yeah. But I mean, not a bad player. Not a bad player at all. I wouldn't mind that at all, just to get you over the hump for the next. Because I'm sure other people have floated it out there. Do you tank?
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to be bad enough to tank. And it has.
Well, I mean, if you don't have Jaylen Brown, because that's the thing, we don't know the diagnosis with Jaylen yet. Like, so when I just went for surgery, it was a 6 to 8 week or a 3 to 6 month recovery. If he gets a repair, if they repair that meniscus,
that's true. He could be.
He'll be out for 6 months.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That would at least delay him for the start of the season,
right?
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Shireman get some minutes.
Yeah, I have that in here too. if you bring Horford back, it'd be like Horford, Cornette, and Shireman first three guys off the bench. Because I think you got to give Shireman a shot.
Yeah, the kid looks like he's going to be a good ball player. So I'd like to see him get some minutes, see him grow at an NBA level because Walsh it looks like he's never going to play. So it's like that's another pick that you just wasted. At this point, you might as well just trade them all away and just keep getting, free agents if you're not going to let these guys play.
True. Yeah. So, but I mean, let's like say it's like something comparable like that. You can get those two guys a couple years each, something like that, right around that 30 million. Keeps you just under the luxury tax. Then you're still a competitive like 46 to 50-ish win team, maybe. Fun plucky
And
Celtics.
in the East, that might be a 5 or 6 seed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It could be fun plucky Celtics maybe for a year without
Like
Tatum.
that Isaiah Thomas year where we had like no right going to the playoffs.
Well, which Isaiah Thomas year was that? Because I feel like they had a few where it was like, how are they even here? You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. The one where his sister passed and he went off for like 50
Yeah,
points or whatever that game. Like
yeah, like
we
the
had like
next
we had
day.
no one on that team.
No, I mean you're talking about like you're talking about guys like
We had Kelly Olynyk
Kelly
and
Olynyk. Yeah, what was Sullinger? Was he one of our better players on that team?
oh my god, he couldn't have been. He was never a better player.
Yeah, I think he might have had one or two good years. Maybe you're not
Oh
remembering.
man, but like that those were the years as a Celtics fan, you knew you didn't belong there, but man, they gave you hope.
You had young Marcus Smart at that time too, I believe, too.
Right?
Very young.
But now we're so spoiled. We're like we just expect to win. Like
Yeah.
next year could be fun for Celtics fans, where it's like we have no expectations, and they could surprise us.
Yeah, I think that that's what we're in for, folks. And so I would say, really about as bad an ending as you possibly could have had here because no one expects your star player to just pop an Achilles, but and that's
Especially because as a Celtics fan, you thought the worst thing that could happen was you lose the series.
yeah,
Like going in, you were like, "Oh, what could be worse?" And then
yeah.
you're
Well, you
watching your
found
star
out.
player run around in circles on the floor.
Yeah, you F around and find out, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I wouldn't say all hope is lost for next season. But as far as the championship goes, you guys got to take that off the table. GM Wizard Brad Stevens, I bet you he finds a way to do something even better than what I just came up with. So here's to hoping on that. You cannot forget the best asset that you have on the Boston Celtics is Brad Stevens, the general manager. So that's another thing to keep in mind, folks. But we have a long way to go to see what that's going to look like come October. We still have some business at hand in the NBA. As we mentioned, the New York Knicks, they get past the Celtics. They will face the sixth-seeded Indiana Pacers, who not only beat the one-seed Cavaliers, but they destroyed the one-seed Cleveland Cavaliers. Uh, Josh, I think the coaching advantage goes to the Pacers. I think the talent advantage is barely the Knicks here. Pacers deep and difficult defensive team. Longer the series goes, I do think it favors Indiana for the same reason that I thought that it would favor the Celtics in the previous round. What do you think of that? What do you make of this one?
I take a lot of unders in this series.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah, that's a good
they're
point.
like old style 1990s East matchups teams. Like these are like 95, 94 games. Like and I mean points, not years, the points. Like they
Yeah.
they just play grinded out games. Like they don't have elite shooters on their team. They don't have elite point scorers besides Brunson. Like other than Brunson, who's an elite scorer of the basketball on either of those teams?
A truly elite scorer. I don't know. I can't. I stopped short of really saying anybody. I mean, you can certainly have guys like Halliburton.
Yeah,
Uh,
but like when you're elite, you look at Brunson to score 28, 29, 30 points a game.
yeah, there's
Halliburton's
really
not doing that. He threw up games in that series where he threw up 11 points, 4
Yeah, I know.
points.
And I was gonna say like Karl Anthony Towns is capable of it, but is he doing it every game? Probably not. OG Anunoby had a couple 20 plusers in that Celtics series. He also disappeared in three of those games too. So, um, I mean, who else can fill it up for the Pacers? I mean, yeah,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Spicy P is awesome. He's a good player. But again, he's not dropping 25, 30 a game.
yeah, no, you're right. Unders definitely look good in that series, for sure. If I wasn't on such a miserable losing streak, but I'll probably get back on the horse anyway because I usually do. The Preakness really beat me up last Saturday too. That sucked. because I had the long shot that was coming down the stretch, leading the damn thing, and then the favorite just pulls up, blows right by him, last 10 lengths of the thing, right by him. And so I got my ass kicked this weekend. Even Formula One, I even beat Formula One, even beat me. That never happens. But anyway, who do we like in this series? What do you think?
I mean, I told you, I think it's going to be the Knicks. And I'll tell you why when we get to the West. I just think that's got to be the best storyline you can find. And of course,
Sorry, you were saying?
it is an entertainment business. So,
So is
I
this.
mean, how full circle would that be? Maybe I'm just poetic, or maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't know what end of the spectrum you want to call it, but I think the Knicks win the series.
Oh yeah, I would say the same thing, man. I'd say Knicks in six. Knicks in six.
Knicks in
They're
six.
Knicks in six. Their top end talent should be enough. All the starters are playing pretty well right now. They're determined. They're definitely determined. They proved a lot to me that last series. They kind of really took apart the Celtics in most of that series. At times, you can say the Celtics blew 2 of the 4 games they lost. But again, as I said earlier, the Knicks simply executed better when it mattered most. Game 5 was really the only time they couldn't match up with Boston in that series, and you kind of knew the Celtics were gonna blow doors in that game anyway because of just what
Well, and game
happened.
three.
Well, Game 3 too, yeah, but I mean they didn't get killed in Game 3. Not like I thought they did in Game 5, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter now. They won the series. Pacers, they match up well with anybody. I think they do. I mean, look what they just did to Cleveland. They stymied Cleveland. I mean, no one. I
Well,
don't.
and I also, like you talked about the coaching advantage. Carlisle's been there. He's done it.
Yes.
And that's a huge advantage in my opinion. One of the things we didn't talk about coaching wise in the last series, defense. Like
Yes.
I can't stand the NBA and this switch happy BS. You can't have an Al Horford or a big of any type guarding Jalen Brunson. Anytime that happens, the offense is won. Even if they don't score, like that possession was better for the offense. Like fight over screens, get back to your guy. Like so many times I saw Drew Holiday matched up on Karl Anthony Towns. That's insane. That's stupidity.
Yeah.
Fight over the screen, get to your guy, and cover him. Like, and you're not going to see Rick Carlisle just be like, "Yeah, go ahead, Miles Turner, go cover Brunson 30 feet from the basket." That ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, what do I always say? What do I always end up saying on the show when we talk about the NBA? I always talk about lazy basketball. That's really all that is.
Yeah, that's what switching is.
That's it. You're just like if you're too lazy to stay on your guy and play man to man, that's lazy basketball. It's not positionless basketball doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it only does if you're matched up against another team who believes positionless basketball works.
Right. And if they don't, then you get shut
And if
down.
they don't, and they have a 7-footer, and your guy is 6'6", like Draymond versus Cat. Cat's winning that battle 9 times out of 10.
And that would probably explain why Cleveland is no longer in the dance and Indiana is. So this should be a good series. I still say Knicks in 6, but maybe we're just not giving the Pacers enough credit. But another thing is that, Josh, I just don't think the 2 6 seeds are going to make it to the NBA Finals. And that's a big market tease for what I think is going to happen in the Western Conference Finals. So you ready to move on to that? Because in the West, at least you and I picked Minnesota to beat Golden State, although that was pretty much a low-hanging fruit with what happened with Curry. But who do we think? Because Oklahoma City whooped the Denver Nuggets in Game 7.
Two awful closeout games, if I can say. Awful games to watch, especially Game 7. You were like so hyped up. What a great series that was to end like that. What a dud.
A absolute dud. A good thing I didn't parlay the Red Sox and the Nuggets money line on Sunday or anything like that. Plus 635. Ha ha. I'm a genius. We'll get to the Red Sox a little bit later. But 125-93 the final in Game 7. It is the 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder, who were 68-14 in the regular season, but 2 of those 14 losses against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the number 6 seed, who has been waiting for them. And it'll be a knockdown drag-out series. I'll go first on this one, I guess. Like I said, pretty evenly matched. They were 2-2 against each other in the regular season. I look at the starting lineups, Josh, and honestly, I know it's on paper. I know that the Thunder have a couple of good guys on their bench in Caruso and I'm drawing a blank, but they have a couple of good guys on their bench. Um, I like the Wolves a lot in this series. I don't know about you, but despite how much I can't stand Rudy Gobert, that's a damn good starting lineup. And they also have Naz Reid coming off the bench. So, what do we think happens in the Western Conference Finals?
I told you, full circle moment. The biggest trade of the offseason, you had Karl Anthony Towns going to New York for Julius Randle and some other pieces, of course, but everyone was like, why would you trade Cat? Why would you do that? And now they're both on a collision course, in my opinion, to meet. And then you'll really find out who won that trade because whoever wins, if they go against each other in the finals, whoever wins that series, you're gonna say you won that trade.
I mean,
Obviously, both GMs thinks they won it anyway, but now, like from a media standpoint and all the observers, they're like, oh yeah, they made a great move. Yeah, because at first Minnesota started off sputtering.
yeah.
They weren't very good at the beginning of the season, so everyone was like, oh, and now you're looking at it as they might be playing for the NBA championship, which would be awesome.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you. I think they are going to be playing for the championship. I like your point very much. This series, I like Minnesota. I think it's going to go seven because Oklahoma City's a damn good team. They're not going to be an easy out. But I just think that there's a lot more veteran composure on this Minnesota team. I think that's going to make a difference. Like I know Anthony Edwards is a young player. I understand that. But that you do have vets like Mike Conley, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. As much as I can't stand Gobert, but I look at the Thunder and that's just such a young team to me. And I don't know if they I understand that, but the regular season is a different animal than winning in the playoffs. I don't really care that much about a 68-14 record. Look at what Golden State did, and this was in the midst of their primes. Golden State when they went 73-9 and they lost in the second round. So just
No,
how
they lost in the finals to LeBron.
yeah, well, if it losing to LeBron always feels like the second round to me, but yeah. So but point taken, right? So it doesn't mean that a whole hell of a lot when you get
No,
this far. Um, OKC feels a little top heavy to me. They really just seem to go where Shea Gilly Alexandra, I just said. It seems like wherever SGA goes is kind of where they go. Jalen Williams, a nice player, averaged 21 and a half per game in the regular season. He's been up and down in the playoffs. And I really like Chet Holmgren coming out of college. He's obviously gone through a bunch of injuries since then, but he should be better than 15 points and 8 rebounds a game. And I think he needs to be better than that if they're going to win this series. Hartenstein's a decent player. He averages a double-double in the regular season. And I know that Dort's a good defensive guy. That's their starting five. But Dort, if he gets you 12 points a game, you're happy with it. So give me the Timberwolves in seven here. And we'll see that matchup play out in the finals, and then we'll really get to find out who
yeah,
at the better end.
I agree with you. And I think what the biggest matchup is going to be who is covering Julius Randle for 7 games. He is your mismatch there because I don't think Chet Holmgren can cover him. You're not going to put Hartenstein on him because then Rudy Gobert is matched up with Holmgren. Holmgren isn't like your typical big who can, bang down low. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be able to do that. He's more of that stretch big guy.
He's like a Euro. He's like a Euro big. Oh, great.
Exactly. So I wonder who Julius Randle is going to. Hopefully, Filch, right? That's his name. Hopefully he attacks that matchup because you're going to have Caruso, Dort. You're going to have them hounding Edwards. Edwards, I think, might have a tough series because they're going to really try to take him out of the game. And their defense is very good. So we'll see. As long as you keep SGA off the line, and that's what you saw in the Denver series, if he does not go into the free throw line 20 times a game, he's not really scoring. He's not like an elite shooter.
Right.
He has a mid range, but like just broke my chair. He's not gonna kill you if you can keep him off the line.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And yeah, so I mean, you haven't really said it, but it sounds to me like you're leaning Timberwolves here too. I mean, you kind of said it at the beginning that you think it's a destiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that Oklahoma City's going to be back in this spot. It seems like. I mean, it's easier said than done. Look what just happened with the Celtics. We all assumed that was a repeat waiting to happen, and for a number of reasons, that didn't happen. So, Um, but yeah, I think so. We're both going Minnesota, and we're both going Knicks, Minnesota for the NBA Finals. I don't think many people would have saw that coming at the outset of these NBA playoffs. That is a lot of NBA talk for me for a stretch. I know that I did the entire Celtics run like solo last year. Um, obviously not happening this year. Good stuff as always, Josh. And I don't really have much else. I think we're just going straight to quick hits. Although I do think that the quick hits segment it'll take up some time, let's just say, because I know we're gonna disagree on a couple of things that I've gotten here. Well, maybe just one, maybe. But I've got some as usual, I've got my five bullet points that I want to get to. Last week you had one for me. If you do now, great. If not, don't worry about it. But here we go, folks. Quick hits segment. Woo, quick hits, throw up a graphic or don't. Okay. So, a little baseball. Actually, I've got two baseball in here, but we'll start here. The Boston Red Sox are 23 and 25. A big walk-off homer from Rafael Devers on Saturday night. You're thinking that's your turning point. That's what's going to jumpstart them. Wrong. They go out there on Sunday, and Alex Cora lets Brian Bale walk like 10 people and have 15 base runners in less than 5 innings, and they get crushed on Sunday the day after. Two questions, and then a stat. Two questions. What's wrong with the Red Sox? Kind of have some thoughts on that. And then when do we start looking at the manager? And by the way, they are now 460 and 458 since winning the 2018 World Series. They are literally 500 for the last 7 seasons. What is wrong with the Red Sox? And when do we start playing? When do we start looking at the manager?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of flirted with this last week. Like when do you look at Cora? I mean, I think it might be too early. Their pitching is awful. Their
Yeah,
pitching is awful,
we should be looking at Andrew Bailey this year because it's
right?
not working out. Crochet, I saw this too. Crochet has a 2 ERA, and I think what is it, 10 starts or something? And all the other starters in 38 starts have like a 5.38 ERA. It's not working.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how much does Andrew Bailey really need to talk to Crotch Rocket?
Probably not.
Nothing. What like if he says anything to Crochet, I'm sure Crochet's like, yeah, I got
Yeah,
this.
thanks, dude. You were a mediocre closer for like half a decade, and I'm a ridiculous.
I'm a workhorse. I'm elite. Get off my back. Go
Yeah,
talk to these other guys who can't find the strike zone or get anyone out.
yeah. Somebody talk to Brian Bayo because he couldn't hit the side of a barn if he was standing right next to it. That kid, so bad. I thought he was going to be good. I really thought that this
We
kid was
all
going to
did.
be good.
Baby Pedro is what they told us.
Yeah, but it's all in here, dude. It's all in here with this kid. He's too fragile emotionally, it seems like. So, oh, but they're human beings. Didn't you watch the thing on Netflix? But they're all human beings. They get paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. Shut up.
Yeah. You know, next time you go to the checkout line at a retail store and you start whining about a coupon, yeah, say the same thing. They're human beings.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
people get paid $17 an hour. These guys get paid millions.
Yeah.
We can be a little hard on them.
They're not immune to criticism. You and I go to my job. If I don't do well, I get criticized for it. So yeah, you better believe. Sorry, folks, but got to be a little bit better than this. So yeah, we're looking at pitching. I really think Cora's made a lot of mistakes. I guess we're not full blame mode with him yet, but I don't know if it's disinterested or what it is, but this team just doesn't know how to win games, I think is what it comes down to. They're young. They don't know how to win games, and they're going to get younger pretty soon because if you're going to move Christian Campbell to first base because Devers understandably doesn't want to try to switch positions in the middle of the season. So you're going to end up putting Christian Campbell over there because, well, he's 22 and he hasn't earned it yet. So he's just like, yeah, I'll do whatever to make the team better. So he's been taking grounders at first like 3-4 days in a row now. I think within a week or two, he's over there. Marcelo Myers up at the big club. That's going to help for sure.
That gets me excited right there.
Yeah, I bet. It gets me excited too. Good thing the camera cuts off here.
Now, if you told me Roman Anthony's coming up, then we might.
Yeah, then the camera. It doesn't matter the camera where the camera cuts off at that point. They'll be cutting through right here too. So, listen. I mean, they're both ready to go, right? I mean, if you look at their numbers on AAA, they have zero to prove against that pitching. They have nothing to prove. The problem is the Red Sox don't want to mess with their outfield. I think the easiest solution would be if you could somehow do something with Trevor Story because he's so friggin' bad. And you pay him $22 million a year. His OPS is like 650 right now. That's below replacement level player, guys. That's really, really bad. And if you could Trevor Story disappears, goes on the IL, or goes to another team, or gets cut, which I know they won't do because it's too much money to eat. But if that happens, now you have Meyer at short. You can put or Cedar Rafaela at short, whichever one you want. You put Meyer at second or Rafaela, whatever. Your outfield then becomes
Durant,
left,
Anthony, and Abreu.
right. You put Duran back in center. You stick Anthony in left. You keep Abreu where he belongs. He's a Gold Glove right fielder. That's how you get those two kids to the majors. Trevor Story is another massive problem for this team. I've only been saying it since the day that they signed him.
Dude, he's a giant rooster block right now. That's what he is.
It's exactly right. That is 100% right. I mean, after you said shit earlier, you might as well just say cock block, Josh. But yeah, no, absolutely. And I've literally been saying it for 3 years with this guy. I think 4 years with this guy now.
I hated this signing. I hated it. I was like, why are we doing this? The guy anytime you sign someone from Colorado, you are taking a giant risk.
Yeah, because I said it. I did an emergency episode of the original run of the Terranadome that day. I had a bad title for the show. I'm not even going to say it here. It was a bad title for the show. But I said it that day. I said, this tells you two things. One, Xander Bogaerts, he's gone. Forget it. See you later. There's not a chance he comes back. And two, they don't know what they're doing with Marcelo Mayer yet because he was the plan at the time, but he was, that was I think the same year that he got drafted or the year after he got drafted. But now you just block this kid because he's going to be ready before the next 6 years are up because you gave Story 6 years. Didn't get it at the time. That was one of the only times they let Chaim Bloom spend money, and that's what he did. So, yeah. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. I mentioned it on the show that day too, that his OPS outside of Colorado is like 120 points lower. It's not hard to figure out. It isn't. So I think we've got our theories on what happened to the Boston Red Sox. That is quick hit point number 1. Josh, quick hit point number 2. Going back a little ways now, but we haven't talked about it. The Dallas Mavericks got the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft lottery despite having a 1.8% chance of landing the number 1 pick.
Where's that belt? Where's that belt?
Just a couple of months after their really suspicious trade of Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Josh, I'm going to ask you a simple question. And I think when you said, where's that belt? I think you were already alluding to it. Do you think the NBA draft lottery is rigged?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
It's just like this. It's just like this shirt right here.
Absolutely.
It's just, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Exactly what it is. They're closer to this.
I've seen so many pictures of like the last time a superstar was traded and then that team gets the number 1 pick. Like LeBron leaves Cleveland, they get the number. They get the next 2. Like,
yeah,
stop, dude. It, like, make it a little more obvious.
Yeah,
1.8%.
They're in the NBA. They're in the NBA is in the entertainment business, folks. They are so much closer to this than they are to NFL or MLB. That was an easy one. I don't even have to elaborate on it. It is 100% rigged, folks. Congratulations, Dallas. You may have given up Luka Doncic, and we may have made you do it, but you get Cooper Flag, so we got you. Okay, perfect. Now here's one that's going to get interesting, folks. Quick hit point number 3. The San Francisco 49ers have extended quarterback Brock Purdy. He got the bag last week to the tune of 5 years and $265 million with $181 million fully guaranteed. The deal kicks in for the 2026 season, and Purdy will earn up to $53 million per season. Number 1, Josh, and I know you're going to say yes. Is he worth it?
Yes.
Oh my God, you homer.
Not a homer. Trevor Lawrence just got paid 50, and Brock's better.
I will give you that. I have the salaries of the guys that are ahead of him or at the same number as him. Dak is at 60. Then you have this. Is
he better than Dak?
No.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
How is he not better than Dak?
Not better than Dak.
What's Dak's playoff record?
I don't know. It's not
Yeah,
good. It's
he
like two
doesn't
and
win.
five, 2-5 maybe.
He stinks.
Yeah, you might stink. Yeah, but you got Jarrah signing the
He's worth
checks over
60
there.
million. Dak
Nobody's
Prescott's
worth
worth
60. No one's worth 60 million. Stop
okay.
it.
Well, yes,
No one's worth 60
absolutely.
million.
Patrick Mahomes is.
Right, and he's only making 45. I was gonna point that out.
Well, because he's taken a bunch of restructures.
Well, yeah, and incentive stuff is in there too. That he's the
Okay.
incentive stuff, but it doesn't count against the cap. Uh, then you have after Dak, you have a group of Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, all at 55. These next two kind of make your point for Purdy. Tua Tagovailoa is at 53.1, and Jared Goff is at 53.
Okay. I mean, you have to do what the market tells you to. What if you're the Niners? What do you just let them walk?
I guess not. But I think my question then becomes my follow-up question, because of course there's a follow-up question. Does this not kind of screw them on the cap?
I mean, anytime you sign a quarterback, that's the chance you take. If Drake May turns out to be decent, are you not going to sign him? You have to.
He's going to be better than decent, and yes, they have to sign him
Oh,
when
okay.
that time comes.
Unfortunately, the NFL is put in a spot where quarterback play is and the league play is So if you have a guy that elevates your team to a point where you've gone to 2 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl, and you are this close to winning, you have to sign that guy. You can't just be like, "We'll find another one." That's
Yeah, I
not
mean,
how
it
works.
was not Brock Purdy's fault that Kyle Shanahan pooped his pants in that Super Bowl.
No,
No,
Brock Purdy had a good game.
I know. Oh, I like Brock. I do. I just think that the money's gotten completely out of control, and it's only going
But
to get worse.
that's not Brock's fault.
No, it's not Brock's fault. I
It's
would argue
not.
that the two of the eight, only two of the eight guys that I mentioned are worth the money. It's Burrow and Allen. Sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't disagree with you. But I'm saying when you have all those bums that are making that money, if you're the 49ers and you're going to Brock and you're like, "Hey,
hey,
Brock's going to be like, you don't think I'm better than Tua?" That's what his agent's going to tell you.
I mean, he's better than Tua. Yeah,
Absolutely.
of course he
I
is.
think he's better than Dak.
Hell, nobody in the league thinks that anybody's better than Dak, apparently, except Jarrah. So Jarrah
Well,
said, "Here's a
Jerry
60
Jones is off
million,
his
Dak."
rocker. So,
Jarrah said 60 million for Dak.
yeah, and now we're going to sign George Pickens and we're going to get CeeDee Lamb and we're going to have no team.
We're gonna be like the Bengals and have 47% of our salaries going to be on four players. Jarrah. So yeah, Cincinnati like that. Remember when they signed Higgins and Chase and with that stupid insane stat like 45 or something percent
Yeah.
of their
And
entire.
you pissed off your best defensive player and
He
you
wants
pissed
out
off
now.
anybody last year.
Right. Yeah. Kate, way to have your priorities in line. Let's keep the two receivers happy. Oh boy, yeah, what a mess they've got. But yeah, the cap's not going to go up enough anytime soon to make that stuff work for these teams. Cincinnati's not going to be very good.
And I think that's one of the reasons the Niners tried to move off of BA this year. I think they tried to trade him, and I just don't think it worked.
Well, it won't work when the guy rips up his knee. I mean, if he had stayed healthy and had a good year, absolutely they could have traded him, 100%.
I think that would have been the play.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so Josh thinks that Purdy's worth it. I don't think any quarterback's worth it, but we'll wait.
Brock.
We'll wait another 3 years until Drake May is coming up for his fifth-year option, and I'm screaming at the Patriots to sign him because that's exactly
Give
what's
him
going to happen.
65 million.
I mean, that's where it's going to be at that point.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. They play 17. They play 17 games,
And they barely play, if we're being honest. They barely get touched.
Oh, nowadays, yeah, it's like you really can't. You even breathe on Mahomes, you get 15.
I mean, think about Peyton and Brady and Breeze. Like they never made that kind of money ever.
Never. No, of course not. And
they were better than these guys. Way better.
Of course, statistically, statistically, not winning wise, but statistically, those guys are the three best quarterbacks ever. The three you just mentioned. Statistically, Breeze put up insane numbers and nobody talks about it.
Well, because he had to compete against the other two, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's exactly right. That's why he only had one MVP because it was Brady and Manning every other year winning them. So, okay, that was a nice rousing segment, Josh. I don't know if this next one's going to be quite as good, but quick hit number 4. This happened a week ago as well, but we're talking about it today on the Terranadome. My name is Scott Terrana. Josh Morris is kind enough to be back on the show today, and I'm giving him the boot after this. because we need to save his reps for NFL season. And plus, I got other people that want to come on the show, if you can believe it or not. So that's kind of cute. So anyway, quick hit point number 4 on today's show. Josh, very interesting development in baseball last week. I don't know if you know, you probably know where I'm going with this, but MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred decided posthumously to unban, sorry, Pete Rose in the 1919 Chicago Black Sox team that are infamous for throwing the World Series on purpose, meaning they are instantly eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Josh, should Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson get in? Number one. And if so, does that not mean that most of the steroid guys should too? Because there's a loophole in that question too. But first question: should Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson get in the Hall of Fame?
Statistics alone, yes. And Shoeless Joe was the only one who never did say he did. The other ones admitted it. He always, and his stats would say that he wasn't throwing those games.
If you look at his numbers, he was damn good.
Yeah, he was really good during that series,
and
he was like the only one. So I mean, I probably believe him. Like, you know, usually if you're throwing games, you're not going balls to the wall. You know what I mean? You're not playing your best ball. And Pete Rose,
he's a bad human being, a really bad human being.
So here's the thing. Unfortunately, to get into the Hall of Fame in baseball, the only sport that has this, you need to be a decent person. And all accounts say he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say like a guy that has 4,200 hits should not be in the Hall of Fame. It's really tough to say that.
It is.
But I assume what your loophole is all right, do we get rid of that clause for the personality and the human being that you are, and do we get rid of that?
No, that's not it.
Because that would be the end all, right? If you get rid of that, you can't really hold anyone out. And maybe that's why baseball does it. They want to be different.
Well, here's the thing. It's not actually written. That's an unwritten thing with the baseball writers, right? That's not anything that's in writing that says, well, this guy was an a-hole, so we're going to hold him out. Well,
yeah, I know, right? Chris Speaker, like, not the, like,
a-hole. Yeah, no, I know. But no, because so the loophole here is that he said that these people can only be put in posthumously, meaning they're all dead.
Yeah.
So, but doesn't it kind of open the door for these steroid guys? Like, I mean, I feel like it has to.
So from what I've read, no, because these men were officially banned, which is an actual rule. Like, it's in the MLB rule book. Like, if you're banned, that ban can't be lifted until your lifetime ban, right? Lifetime.
It means your life ends.
Your lifetime. So that's how they got through it. They're like, well, his life is over. So, like, we can unban you because your lifetime ban is gone. I mean, I still think it's a total kick in the groin. Like, at that point, why do it? It's more just to make you guys not look like D-bags, but in doing so, you made yourselves look even more like D-bags.
Yeah. Yeah, you can say it's a kick in the balls. It's all right. The second word out of your mouth on the show was shit today, so it's okay.
How many times are you going to bring it up?
Probably just that last time right there. You're right. Technically, thank you for explaining the English language to me too. I appreciate that on my own show. I feel like an idiot now, but yeah, you're right. It is a lifetime, but you're right. It's a ban. It's written. That's a very smart take. It's lifetime. Their lives are all over now. So sure, now that they're dead and gone and they're never gonna know, sure, now we could put them in the Hall of Fame. That's where baseball makes themselves look crappy to me.
And I don't think they're gonna get voted in.
I don't either. I
think a lot of people. So I will say, a lot of the writers, especially, are kind of like me. Like, they're old heads. They're romantic about the game. Like, in their minds, it's a pure sport. It's beautiful. They want to keep it pure, right?
And it's not.
No, of course it's not. No,
it hasn't been for a very long time. Almost like more than 30 years now. It hasn't been.
But through their eyes, they try to keep it pure. They're the gate holders, the key holders to letting the purity in and out. You know what I mean? That's them. And they're like, that's why they haven't let the steroid guys in. And they're not going to let Pete Rose in.
Yeah, that's a good.
Now, I don't know about Shoeless Joe. They might let him in.
Sure. I mean, 100 years later, sure. Why not?
Well, a lot of historians of the game don't think he threw it.
I mean, that's I can give you credit for those two takes. So they're very realistic, very honest takes. I thought for sure you would have said that Pete Rose should be in for sure because almost everyone else I've talked to thinks he should be. So and
He should on his baseball merit.
I happen to agree with you. I agree with you. I really do. Like now you're gonna go. So now you just change your mind 40 years later? Like I don't know. I mean, a lot of these baseball writers are old, literally old guys. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think that they. I don't think he should. I don't think. I don't. I think there's a chance he does, but I don't think he should. And
And
Ben
it's the
Schulich,
same
Joe.
reason Barry Bonds isn't going to get in.
Well, I think
Here's the
that.
thing: if Barry Bonds had come out, laid on his sword, and said, like I didn't know what they were doing, he was rubbing this stuff on my back because that's what he said it was, right? And he'd come out and he'd said, and you know what, it was steroids. I should have known better. I guarantee there'd be more forgiveness. Here's the thing, and this is why I don't want Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame either, because I'm an old head. The guy was amazing. He's an amazing baseball player, and you cheated. That pisses me off. As someone who loves the game of baseball, whose favorite player I know for a fact was clean and was an amazing player, you were better than him. Like you were a better player than him,
I
and
don't
you
know if
had to
that's true.
cheat.
I don't know if that's true.
What's true?
Well, Barry Bonds is maybe the greatest hitter I've ever seen, probably, but I don't know that he was a better overall player than Griffey.
I think he was. I mean, I think he probably would have got to the 400 club without cheating.
Oh, I know he would have hit 400 home runs because he was almost there when he did start to cheat.
So that's what I'm saying. 400
Yeah,
400 clubs is unreal.
yeah, of
So
course.
he
And
had
he would have been a
speed,
three, and he would have been a 300 something hitter too.
right?
Yeah,
And
no, I
and you
agree.
look back at that 2001 season, I think he was like 31, 32.
Oh,
No,
he was
no.
way older,
He was
bro.
like 36, 37.
Way older. Yeah,
That's not realistic.
no, it's not.
And I get it. 98 pissed you off. And you know what? I'm going to say it because he's my favorite player and we're talking about it now. Like Griffey should have been pissed off too that year because he hit 58 home runs legit.
Yeah,
Or 56, excuse me.
it was
He won the AL
56. But
MVP.
your point is well
And
taken.
he hit 56 legit, clean.
No attention on him.
And
None.
he could have went, you know what, these scumbags, they're cheating. I'm gonna show them that I could hit 70 in a season. Well, Barry Bonds did that, and he didn't have to because people already knew he was great. He just wasn't getting the recognition that these other guys were.
That's a valid argument. It's a valid, completely valid argument. I guess our 1 year in age difference is the reason that I'm a little more modern with my takes. But the other problem that I have with it, dude, is I am 100% sure that some of the guys that have gotten in recent years were also steroid guys.
Oh,
Not all of
probably.
them, not all
Probably.
of them, but I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan, and I'm going to say something that is completely sacrilegious to Red
Don't
Sox.
you say it.
And
You
I'm
mute
gonna
your
say
mic.
it. I'm
You
gonna
mute your
say it.
mic.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, well, you don't even want me to say it. David Ortiz was on that list in '03.
He was found innocent.
He was. Oh, right. Okay. All right. He said he was a little bit careless. You can't find the clip now, but he said he was a little bit careless. That's what he said. So yeah, the
He
entire
told Robert Manfred he didn't know what it was, and Robert Manfred said, "You're right. It's a false test."
the entire 2003 Red Sox roster was a little bit careless, if you want to go by that barometer.
Oh, absolutely.
But hey, great team. I just think if you're gonna have guys like Ortiz in the Hall of Fame, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. That's just what I think. So
I agree. I don't disagree with you.
but
I just don't think anyone who cheated should be in.
then we had that I mean, we're not letting too many people in anytime soon.
Well, and that's what's sad. That's what's sad.
Yeah, I know. I know. Todd Helton's not a Hall of Famer. Sorry. Colorado guy. I know.
What about Booger? Do you think Booger's a Hall of Famer?
Who?
Larry Walker.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do, because he had a long career before Colorado, too.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
I mean, he's known for Colorado, but I mean, he was a really good player.
He was a really good player. Yeah, maybe if he doesn't play, maybe he's just a Hall of very good. If he doesn't, Josh, I still got one more point to go here. We're up at about an hour here. I've got one more quick hit. This one's satisfying for both of us, I think. You ready?
I'm ready.
Number 5, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I knew I'd get a laugh right away. The Toronto Maple Leafs were eliminated by Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers last night, losing Game 7 at home, 6-1.
Is there anything else more Toronto-ish?
No, that's about as Toronto as it gets. Now they are 0-7 in their last seven game sevens. This is a lot of sevens. Let me repeat that. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 0-7 in their last seven game sevens. That's triple sevens, folks. That's as unlucky as it gets. Not only that, but in their last five game sevens, they have scored exactly one goal in each of those games. Pathetic, Toronto. Pathetic. They've been outscored 28-9 overall in those seven game sevens, where they're 0-7 in their last seven game sevens. Now, Brad Marchand has been on a team responsible for eliminating them in five game sevens. That is an NHL record, Josh.
That's
Josh,
elite. That is elite troll right there.
that is amazing rat work by a guy that should still be our rat. We love you, Brad Marchand. Thank you. Because you also, when you did it, you guys also gave the Boston Bruins a 2027 first round pick by making that happen. So thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll blow it, but that's not the point.
Hopefully Don Sweeney's not here in two drafts, but you know, he probably friggin' will be. So you're right. Probably he doesn't know what to do with it anyway. That was my comment on a recent episode. Josh, the question that I have for you is the choking by Montreal and especially Toronto over the last 32 years, because it's now been 32 years since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup, and that will continue this year. Is this the most satisfying thing still going on in hockey?
If you're an American, absolutely.
Well, we're Americans, so stupid Americans.
Well, I mean, you know, we have people that watch all over, so they might not like that. But yes, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. I mean, as
so funny,
especially because like it's not huge in America. Hockey isn't huge, right? I mean, it's considered the big four, but it's the four.
But it's the distant four. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so I think
pickleball might pass it pretty soon if we're not careful.
Like I remember when I was younger, and we'd be watching like the Masters or the U.S. Open or whatever. Like, my uncle would always root for an American. He'd be like, "You want someone else from another country to win the U.S. Open? You can't want that." And it's the same thing with like any other sport now. I'm like, yeah, that's right. It's American. Americans got to win. And it's funny because most of the teams in America are still made up of Canadian players. But as long as it's not a Canadian team, we can take a little bit of joy in it.
Just amazing, but the level of choke that just exists in that Toronto Maple Leafs organization is just incredible, dude.
It's gotten to the point like where like every year the Bruins go into the playoffs, if they have to face them, we're like, yeah, we're winning.
Well, yeah, even if it comes down to seven games, like, we'll be fine.
We got it.
We're gonna win that. We've done it against them three times in the last like five playoff runs or something like that. So, Josh, you got anything for me? You got another quick hit you want to throw at me, or are you good for today?
I'm good. We covered so much in those quick hits that anything that I think we covered.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's just really good pre-production work by the guy that hosts the show and produces it and all that.
That's right.
I think that's great work. We do a great job. I'm sure I'll have you back on the show. Yeah, you should pat yourself on the back, my friend. You didn't see it off camera. He patted himself on the back. That is completely appropriate. Josh, I actually got a comment on the last episode that says the quick hit segment of the show should just be its own episode. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel the same way. I kind of want to do that. Like,
I'm down.
I really kind of want to do that. Like, you could just make one standalone once a week, and then you can do like a quick hits episode where it's just like, we could even make it like 6 to 8 bullet points and just cover a ton of topics depending on how the week's going. You know what I mean? It's just the only problem is that once we get to like the 4th of July week, we're talking about the hot dog eating contest for sure.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I talk about it. I'll talk about how.
But what's it called? Jaws isn't going to be in it.
He's not?
I don't think he can. Nathan's banned him
because because he went on like Netflix or something and did some other thing?
No, he's paired with like a vegetarian hot dog company. So Nathan's was like, no, we don't want you. How can you get rid of Jaws? He's the draw.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this might be a subject for another episode, Josh. That's gonna do it for us, folks. My name is Scott. He's Josh Morris. I can't thank him enough for being on the show once again. I know he's going to be back to being mobile pretty soon, and then he'll have other things to do besides this show and video games and stuff. So thank you again, sir.
I might forget what the sunlight looks like. It's been so long.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be crappy out for the next like week straight anyway, so you might forget. Anyway, folks, my name is Scott Terrana. It's the Terranadome. And I do think we'll be back again sometime this week, although it might just be me. Might just be me. I don't know. Yeah, no, I know you don't like that. I get it. I might have another guest on the show though, but he really wants to talk like Patriots dynasty and like we need to do something more current. So like we could segue the dynasty stuff and like maybe do the current schedule. Um, I
Oh
have.
man, you guys are counting wins already?
Oh yeah, we're counting wins, baby. I went to my buddy's house yesterday. He has
Did
a.
you see the stat about how many games you guys are favored in compared to last year?
Well, I know it was 0 last year, and I think it's 11 this year. Yeah,
11.
so I actually
That
have
is
them.
impressive.
I know. I'm a little bit concerned about that, to be honest. But I have them going 11-6. But and I've been saying 10 wins all along. But when I went down the schedule yesterday, it was a win, win, loss, win, win, win. Like I ended up at 11-6. So my
Well,
buddy.
make sure like when we do the pre-NFL league, I'm going 17-0 for the Niners.
Oh, 17-0. Yeah, well, it really worked out last year when we both thought they'd have the best record in football, and it really just.
I will say they have the weakest schedule in the NFL, so.
And the Pats have like the third weakest. So yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
hey,
hey.
we might be looking at head-to-head. That'd be awesome.
I don't think they're both making the suit. I don't
I'm
think
just
either.
saying, content-wise, that would be incredible.
Yeah, well, I really placate you by putting the Niners on this show all the time. So we did a whole thing on Brock Purdy back then just now. All right, folks, thanks for sticking with us. Josh, thank you again.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. It won't be. I can't keep you off for 4 months. That's just not right. So, we'll see you before too long, folks. My name is Scott. It's the Terranadome. Once again, thank you for being patient on the gap between episodes, folks. Tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised. Indeed, that is always the case in life. If you wake up on the right side of the dirt line, then you probably should have a good day, right? Be well, everybody. We will see you back later this week for an all-new Terranadome. Peace.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is so prestigious. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. In Joe Hendry.